Well, all right. It is Friday, April 26th, just about 9 a.m. I gotta make this fast because I'm going to an event at my daughter's school. But as you can see, today I was zero trades today, flat day. Not even the open trade today, and I'll get into that in a second and explain why. But today, just it just wasn't the day. Sometimes it happens. It's been some time, I think, since the last time I had a day with no trades. I think it's been a couple weeks now, if I remember correctly. At least it feels that way. Last week I had a 17-0 week. It was a nice trading week with a lot of trades. This week, low volume of trades, only six trades this week. All were wins, so that's good, 100% for the week. And so, despite the fact that this was a lower volume week of only six trades, my consistency is still rising, and that's just great to see because that was my expectation, and I do expect to continue to have very few losses as I move forward. There will always be losses. There's nothing that's 100%, but I think that with all of the kind of tweaks and modifications I've done with the way I'm trading, my style, my system, and everything, a 6-0 week is still great for me. I look back, it wasn't too long ago where I was averaging like maybe 2 or 3 trades a week at best. And so even a 6-0 week at this point is a good volume of trades for me in comparison to where I used to be. And, last week I had 17 trades, no losses. I think that the biggest thing is I'm getting more trades overall and I'm getting fewer losses. So, right, that's of course, when you can tell that you're headed in the right direction. And I really believe I am. So overall for the year, I hit somewhat of a milestone, 200 wins and with 45 losses. So that's 82%. And 6-0 for the week, 100%. Now, today is the first day since I've been trading the Alp Orb, the New York Open, what I've referred to as the Alp Orb, just because that's essentially where I learned of it, and that's how I refer to it, because to me it's the Alpine trade, just because I'm a follower, supporter of his, and I'm doing so well with it, and that's I don't know. That's how I refer to it. I'm 12-0 with it. Today was the 13th day trading with it, and it's the first time I didn't take a trade. So today was one of those days where I don't know, if I took the trade, it might have been a loss. Let's take a look at it right now and get into it. All right, so here we go. This was the news at the 5:30, 8:30 Eastern. Looks like it would have been a great one to YOLO an evaluation on if you're up for that. I, of course, was sleeping because I'm not up at 5:30 in the morning here, Pacific Standard Time. So here we go. So essentially, when I got started today, it was around this time, 6:15, and all these little bars were forming, and that's essentially the range that I was looking at. And on the 6:29 candle, 8:29 Eastern, or 9:29 Eastern. Is that right? My dog's barking. One second here. Yeah, so the 9:29 bar, this bar formed the minute before the market opened, and to me, this was like the what I was looking for the trade for the open. I wanted to enter just below this kind of range and be able to get out before these lows. That was the play I was looking for. So this bar formed and did what it did, just as the minute was closing to be the open of the New York market. And so immediately when it took that away from me, I was looking at it like, well, that's the move I wanted, and it already happened. So now what do I do? So then these two bars formed after the open, and I had two choices. I could consider to put a short under here or put a short under here. And I kind of didn't like either one of those options, honestly. At first, I put my short here, and I was considering to get in. But then as it didn't even trigger off of this bar, I was like, I'm not sure I really want to enter here because there's not a lot of room. I was concerned that the thing I was mainly concerned with was we had this big spike up and we had a clear 2 legs down and we had a new low. And now we already had a new low off of that new low. So to me, this push down, it made sense that we were going to retest the low. But now, before the open even happened, we already had a retest of the new low and a new low. So at this point, it wasn't clear to me that we needed another new low. And I was concerned that I would get triggered in here if I played it tight, and I would get trapped in, and then price would just fly off the other direction. It wasn't clear to me that we would even make it down all the way to the lows. There wasn't really a reason to think that we needed to, because this was the new low of this. So for that reason, I decided not to put my order there. And then I was thinking, well, if I put it low enough here, maybe if it breaks out of the bottom, then that's a good enough reason to get entered short. And then so basically, as this bar triggered here and I saw this go, I realized, well, if for anyone that maybe was tight enough here, they already won the trade. And now I'm seeing that we're about to make another new low already. So now at this point, when I saw this bar forming, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to be down here this low, because now we've got a new low of the new low, and it looked like we were getting a new low again of that new low, and I wasn't triggered in yet. I canceled my order. I was like, okay, forget this. I don't want to be in this thing, because to me at this point, it was like, there's no reason for it to continue going down, technically speaking. As far as price action, there is a greater belief that we would go and retest the highs. And what does it do? The news makes a high, you sell off. We see it all the time. And then price goes and retests the high of that again, or potentially retests the high of the session. So as we can see here, depending on where you got in your order here, you definitely won. Depending on where you got in your order here, you might have won with maybe a tick or two to spare. But if you placed it too wide, you could have got put into this trade, and then exactly the thing I was concerned about happened. And so that this bar is the reason why I had no trade today. This is what I was concerned about happening. I kind of felt like this was a high probability of happening. And so I chose not to enter the trade. Now, when this bar was forming up, I was considering putting an order for the long here to be able to get out by the highs. And as it formed, I kind of decided, do I really want to do that? So I didn't do it. I was also considering putting my order back in the original spot that I wanted to put it, which this bar would have entered me in. Again, decided against it. I was thinking to myself, it's Friday. I've got 12 wins in a row. One win away from passing this evaluation and becoming a PA just based on the open trade. And I just decided better of it. I said, you know what? I don't need to have the trade today. Just the conditions weren't what I'm looking for. And I stayed out of the trade. It would have gone on to work, no problem. I see this a lot in all my back testing, and now the 13 days I've looked at this trade at the New York Open, where a lot of days it'll work on both sides. It'll go to work on one side, and then you can play it on the other side and work on the other side too. Obviously, that's more risky. The more times you enter the market, it's risk upon risk. So anyway, that's the reason why I didn't take that trade. As you can see, I've 12 days in a row, I got the trade. I've won every time. Today, it wasn't the day for me. I looked at it and I just didn't like it. Most days I look at the trade and I say, I like that trade. And today there was nothing I liked about it. Once I saw this happen, I just didn't like it at all. And then switched to my normal scalping strategy. And as you can see, I mean, if you got triggered into this trade, by the way, on the open for the short and you were too wide, then this thing would have bounced and never come back. And whether you had enough, if you were in the trade for low enough contracts to try to work out of the trade, well, this thing never came back enough that no matter how many times you try to enter and play that game of working out of it, you have never been able to work out of it, and quite positively would have blown the accounts. I mean, look how high it went. So I don't know. If I entered the trade, I don't think I was entering here. I would have done it here. And if I entered that trade, it's a real question mark whether I would have won or lost. Very likely could have been the first loss taking the trade. So I was really happy with my decision to skip it. Other than that, switching to the tick charts, just nothing that fit my rules and my trading plan to take a trade. I think there was one potential maybe trade at some point that I could have considered, but I didn't even see it when it happened. I think I was in conversation on my live stream and missed the trade, and there really just wasn't anything else that fit the requirements I have to take a trade these days. And I think that's the reason why I've gone now 2 weeks without a loss. Not as many trades as I'd like to have this week, but let's bring this back up here. Again, not as many trades as I like to have, 6-0. But the consistency is what I'm focused on right now. And the fact that I'm not taking losses 2 weeks in a row. And if I go back to the Friday before last week, I was 7-1, I believe, on that day. So if my memory serves me correct, I'm now 23-0 for the last 2 weeks. And then if you attack on that Friday, just that Friday alone, that means I'm 30-1 for my last 31 trades. So things are headed in the right direction. And even though a lower number of trades for the week, the important thing is going exactly how I want it, which is my consistency is rising. I've now watched my overall percentage go from 79% at its lowest to back up to 82%. At one point, I was around 84%. Let's see if I can get back up there, and 84, 85% is where I'd more like to be. And now that I'm folding in the New York Open trade, the Alp I really believe that it's going to help me get there because, 4 or 5 trades a week, then in the case of this week, 4 trades, but hopefully typically 5 trades a week, being 100% on that trade more times than not. By a huge margin. I mean, I'm testing this trade out. I'm at 98% basically. So folding that into what I've already been doing with an 80% strategy should be able to get me up to 85%. And with the new tweaks I've done to my strategy as well, a lot of these 45 losses I could have avoided doing the things that I'm doing now with my strategy. So maybe I would have had a little bit less volume of trades overall, but my win rate probably would have been higher overall as well. So yeah, I think that really does it as far as the day goes. I was looking at the daily, and I had really been calling out in my live stream that I thought it was going to touch the EMA on the high side today. And I didn't know it, so I just clicked on it, but it literally touched it and then pulled back from it is what it looks like. So if you go back to my live stream, you'll see I was talking about the EMA all the way back when I started the stream, thinking it would touch it, and apparently that's the touch right here. And so, there's some things that, I'm not trying to teach anybody how to trade. I'm not trying to say that I know how to trade or that my reads are the way to look at things or anything I'm doing really. I'm no position trade. Say it all the time. I've still got no payouts into Apex for about $2,300. Still looking for my very first payout and been on Apex for about a year. So, but the things are all starting to, everything I'm doing is starting to come together to really lead me to believe that I'm not far off from achieving my first goals, which is payout, and then growing accounts and getting multiple accounts to pay out. So this is really just documenting my journey, like it says up here, and seeing if I could go from a unprofitable trader to a profitable trader, and showing the things I'm implementing, tweaking, modifying, putting into place as I'm trading live every day on my live stream at 10 a.m. Eastern. You could come check it out. There's been some nice conversation, getting some interactivity in the chat, which is great. And I've noticed that I'm definitely getting some more likes and subscribes lately. So that's awesome. I'm just trying to put out there my journey and trying to show that hopefully a guy like me, that just a regular guy trying to make it happen, can go from unprofitable to profitable and just show that journey. So don't forget the 80% discount is going on till Tuesday next week, and then we'll see what the next promo will be. But you could use this code or any other. Just make sure you use a code. There's no reason to ever pay full price for Apex accounts ever. I've been on Apex for over a year, and just over a year, and never a single time have paid full price. I've always, at the very minimum, paid 80% is the lowest base rate that I've ever paid, and at best I've paid 90% off. So I highly recommend Apex. They're the only ones that I trade with, and I just think they have the best rules and the best leadership. And to me, they run a company that just plays it down the middle. It's very clear what the rules are, and they pay out if you follow the rules. So Link in the description down below if you need any more information about Apex. And other than that, yeah, I'm happy with the week going into the weekend. Feeling good. No losses for 2 weeks in a row now on a 23-0 win streak. Maybe a little bit more if you count that Friday before, like I said. And 245 feels great. 82%. Really feeling good about that. Really happy with the opening trade, 12-0. First time I didn't take a trade on it. And come join me in the live stream. The channel's growing. It's really great that people are starting to interact, and it's great that the channel's still small enough that I can talk to everybody who comments. So that's pretty awesome. And hope you all had a great trading week and a great trading day, and have a great weekend. And I'll be back at it Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Come check it out. And let's see where we go from here. All right. Appreciate it, everyone. See you then.